Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani, and my guest this morning is reaching us from Abuja studio. That's Honorable Ibrahim Abdullahi Manga. He is the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the PDP. Well, Alhaji Manga, good morning to you.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. I can't see your face like I used to. How have you been? It's been a while.
Indeed, great to have you, sir. And we're working on what you've just said. Well,
it's all right.
Good news for the PDP, because there's a sense in which some will say it has come back from the brink with the announcement that the crisis, as was perceived, perhaps by non-members of the party, has been resolved, and factions are now united. Now, that's a really big one. Give me your commentary on that. Factions reunited, the thing that was as bad as for them to go out into the press and say all that has been said, and now, in the blink of an eye, everything is good. How do you explain that?
Let me first thank you again for meeting and giving us this opportunity to express our position with regards to this issue. To start with, there was no faction in the few days that we were dramatizing that there was a faction. It's a family issue, and the arguments I've always maintained anywhere I speak for this party is that this party has sufficient internal mechanism of resolving disputes, and that was from inception. The founding fathers conceived of the idea to have sufficient shock absorbers to ensure that anytime such issues spring up, disagreement and dispute arising from dissatisfaction, probably through the policy direction of the party, there would always be mechanisms for intervening to ensure that these sort of things are, nipped in the bud. So we have journeyed in this last 25 years, like I've always argued, through thick and thin, and we have ruled this country for 16 years in the period under review. Now, that was the period Nigeria, was beginning to appreciate the significance of democracy, because it was on a single-digit inflation, you will recall, and many other good things that the country was able to achieve at that time. There was debt cancellation. There was this effective democratic ambience. There was this civic, atmosphere for the country. There was everything going on. We were getting it right up until we lost power in 15. Now, but that aside, what happened was just a little disagreement within the rank and file of the party. Allegations were leveled against some of our important members. The legal advisor of the party, Jibade Kamaluddin SAN, and Honorable Debo Ologbon, I beg your pardon, Honorable Debo Ologunagwa, my colleague and superior brother. These are senior lawyers. None of them is less than 3 decades at the bar. And of course, you expect some of the decisions that they would take, especially if these decisions are to do with policy direction of the party, should be guided by law and by the rules of operation. And of course, what happened to them in the last NWC was a suspension arising from allegations that we received, leveled against them, to do with the running of the party. Those were disturbing allegations, but we felt in-house there was a need to subject them to a committee for interfacing, more or less like the family thing, for them to go and meet one of our brothers, the former Deputy Governor of Oyo State, Ambassador Taufik Arapaja, who is the chairman of that committee. It's a 4-man committee, expected to look into this problem. Of course, these 2 gentlemen, you would believe, not speaking sentimentally, are also from the more or less southwest, because they are Yorubas. And if you look at the committee, it's peopled by fellow Yorubas like them. So what we expected, but not just along that ethnic line, is that because we are running the office through camaraderie and friendship, they should just go and meet these people within just 14 days, clear those allegations leveled against you. So that was the definition of the step aside that the secretary of, the director of publicity announced, to say that this gentleman should go and do this, and then within 14 days we would have addressed this problem, and they will come back and assume their role or take it further from there. But the surprising thing was for a suspension to be announced from Canada, you know, orchestrated by Debo Ologunagba, my superior colleague. You know, you begin to wonder what prompted that kind of a thing, because you can't just suspend a national chairman through social media platform or on the pages of newspaper. And that was what he did. And not only that, not only has that brought embarrassment to the party, but it's repugnant, to say the least. It was quite, you know, absurd. It wasn't something you would expect from somebody of that level of intellect, and somebody who has appreciated the operational rules and guidelines of our party. So it was disturbing, you know. And then for a person who is said to be appointed, do you appoint national chairman also? It's not an office you occupy through appointment. It's an office that is returned through, you know, the convention, you know, or in the case of succession, like Ambassador Umar Iliya Damagon did with the vacation of the then national chairman, Iyoche Ayu, who was returned through a popular convention, you know, and of course the two deputies also returned at the same time, envisaging this kind of development. But the law is clear. Section 47(6) of our Constitution provides processes of succession, and it gives clearly. This is the same section that some people are going to town interpreting wrongly, but if that is a general provision of the Constitution, Section 35 is explicit on how the succession is to be done, and there's no time limit. That's what Damagun has done. He occupied that position in acting capacity, and up till this minute I speak with you, he's seated in his office, that of the Deputy National Chairman North. That is the office he's running the party from, and he has not even moved to the main office of the National Chairman at the National Secretariat in appreciation of his role as acting. So all of these things were neither here nor there. It was not expected of my colleagues to have gone the way they did and start causing disharmony and disaffection, and then giving the members of the public impression that we had crisis, when truly there was no crisis. It was just a normal routine check and investigation to avert, you know, such tendencies.
Okay. Well, indeed.